This is sorry, Facebook people, I don't know what happened, but it just cut out, but it's okay, I'm back. So one of the things I really wanted to share about is you are gonna feel sad. So the holiday seasons are coming up, and so here in America it's Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then also the Christmas is next month. And so just remember, you're gonna have a lot of holiday parties, whether they're with work, whether they're friends, and they're gonna invite you about a spouse or a significant other, husband, whatever the case may be for you. And so you may be asking yourself the question, well, I don't have anyone, I'm feeling real sad. You may be like me, your family member, oh, when is your turn? When are you getting married? Or you're getting on. The big one is you're getting on in age. When are you going to have someone? Are you interested? Are you interested in having a relationship and things like that? And so I just really want to give you some pointers about how to manage that, how to work through that. First of all, you have to work through your own stuff. Because people are going to say stuff and they're not going to do it. You also have to think about their intention. I don't think they're really doing it to hurt you. For the most part, they just really want nothing but the best from you. But you have to make sure you are secure in where you are and how you feel about where you are in this moment in your life. So for that, you have to understand that being single is a gift. And one of the things I did that really helped me is writing out, what do I enjoy about being single? What makes me thankful that I am single? And so having that written out and really thinking about things about flexibility and not having to always answer to someone. I'm sorry if you're like me and you're a bit of a control freak. That is just amazing. I had my niece here about 2 weeks ago and I was just exhausted, and it was like getting her ready and helping my sister out and getting me ready, getting her to bed, feeding her, and all these other things that I had to do. And I had to say, okay, I'm thankful I don't have to do that. Now, there also may be some single moms on here, so I know you guys have it really, really hard. And so in that situation, I can understand where you really would like to have the help and have someone support you. So I really just want you to focus on right now, are you content? Asking yourself questions like, what does it mean to be single to you? What does it mean? Do you think it's fair that you're single? Do you think it's not? Do you think it's fair or unfair? And if it is, you do think it's unfair, then why? Start searching and asking yourself those questions. Because once you answer the questions for yourself, it becomes a lot easier for you to deal with questions from other people, and it becomes a lot easier for you to be content. Also, what does it represent for you? What does single represent? Does it represent punishment? Some people feel like it's a punishment. Some people feel like it represents that they're not good enough. Some people might represent, hey, this is a time, this is space for me. This is a time to really explore who I am and really get to know and get in touch with myself and build other significant relationships. So that's another thing. What does it represent for you? And in that representation, I think it's also important to ask yourself the question, are you living up the expectation of yourself, or are you living up to the expectation in others in regards to your relationship status, and whether you're single or whether in a relationship or married or whatever the case may be? Like, where does that expectation come from? Does that come from you? Does it come from family, friends? Does it come from society? Where does that come from? And is that something that you are content with? Is that something that you're okay with? So just remember, in this whole looking at this singleness and being content and going through the holidays, you have to work out that stuff in yourself with your own thing with being single. Is it a bad thing, good thing, or is it unfair? And what does it represent for you? So once you've answered those questions, I also encourage you to just go ahead and just just write down, what are the benefits of being single? Because there are plenty of benefits. What are some of the disadvantages? Be really real. What have you been able to do with yourself? That is if you're doing something. Some people are not. Some people are just sitting at home and waiting. Some people I know are traveling. Some people are exploring themselves, getting to know themselves in the sense of going to therapy, or we have so many relationships with our friends and with our families that we can develop. I always say that if you can become a good friend with yourself, and then people are going to want to be friends with you too, right? So you also have to think about that too. People are going to want to be in relationship. Do you consider yourself a good friend? And if not, how are you going to even be in a relationship with someone else? Because that is ultimately a relationship. That is going to be the best relationships are based on a friendship first. And so if you feel like you're a good friend and that you're a good friend to yourself, then you're probably going to be okay in a relationship. That's another good thing. Who are you? Like your identity. Who are you? What are you about? So those are some things that I just really want you to get secure in and get comfortable in order to prepare you to deal with those questions also over the holidays. So once you've really, and if you are at that stage where you have asked those questions and you do feel uncomfortable, some of the other things, just thinking about the benefits of being single is peace, alone time. If you're an extrovert, if you're an introvert like me, it's great for you to recharge, have that alone time, unless of course you have kids running about. If you're an extrovert, you have more social time. Also, you get to learn what you like and what you don't like, and you don't feel like you're going to conform when you meet someone. So there's loads of different benefits that you can list. It's also a great time for you to create healthy friendships as well during this single period. So there is so much, that's like why I call it a gift, because there's so much cultivating, so much development, so much growing when you are single. And yeah, you feel lonely. Yeah, you feel sad. Man, I like I said, I heard those advertisements on Pandora about getting a ring and thinking about all the people who are engaged, going to get engaged or having a baby. Because I'm sure now your social media is flooded with the relationships and what we're doing over Thanksgiving, and then after Thursday, who got engaged of Thanksgiving, and then after Christmas, who got engaged, and then after New Year's, who got engaged or who got married. So the social media also is just going to portray and just flood that out, and just know that you're going to get some feelings, ladies. You're going to get some insecurities. You're going to feel some fear, and you're going to feel some sadness. That's okay. Okay. I just want to let you know that. Just know that you don't have to stay there. So if you have this list prepared of the gifts of being single and the benefits of being single, this is something that you can refer back to when you get into those moments of sadness and when you are feeling like, oh my gosh, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to be with anyone. So family members, right? And friends, and when are you going to have someone? All those conversations. Big word I'm going to say to you is boundaries. I always say it's better if you have the conversation before you go versus when it happens. So maybe giving mom, dad, or whoever your guardian is, or whoever you're close to, just a heads up. Hey, look, this is where I'm at right now. I'm single. It's cool. I prefer no conversations. You can't control anyone, but you can let people know that. Okay? If people are asking you, when are you going to get married, or blah, 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 just say, whenever that happens. Why are you single? Well, I'm single because I am. I haven't met anyone. I don't want to settle. I'm not desperate. I appreciate the peace that I have, and I'm not going to be with anyone because I know my worth. That's very basic statement, and really, for the most part, people can't argue with that. I never forget something I had read, that it is better for you. The worst thing that you could be, worse than being single, is being with someone in the wrong relationship. Actually, I think it was being married to the wrong person is worse than being single. Yes, because if anyone has been in a relationship that's not that great and doesn't have a sense of peace, and you weren't even married, just imagine if you were married to that person and that's the wrong person. So just want to say, don't rush. And you can just give those examples. And if they're getting too far into your business, the family members and stuff, just cut it off. Say, I don't want to talk. We're done. I'm cool. But it's a lot. I'm going to say those conversations are a lot easier when you've worked through your own stuff about your own singleness and appreciating it as a gift and getting content in that. And so I just really, it's going to be tough. okay? And don't compare, right? So the saying goes, comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're out at parties and gatherings and all these things, don't compare yourself to those who are in a relationship or just newly engaged. Don't compare. Their time is their time. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they're experiencing, and you don't know their relationship. So don't look at somebody else's thinking that should be you, because just appreciate what you have now and know that when it is your time, you're going to be really even more appreciative, and you will understand that why it wasn't in this particular moment. Talk to your single friends. Just where are they at? How are they feeling? How are they dealing with it? And just getting ideas from them. Read posts. I always look at a great friend of mine. She's a life coach, Broccoli of Dating, and she has some great authentic posts, and she talks a lot about being single, because she's single herself and single or dating. Check those out. Broccoli of Dating. Her name is Veronica. She has some really great tips, just some candid stuff about dating and being single and just being content and using this time wisely. Talk to also your married friends, healthy marriages now, just about their experience when they were single and then leading up to their marriage. And just because they're married now, it didn't mean they didn't struggle. It didn't mean that they didn't go through some things. So ask questions. If you're not sure about what you're looking for in a relationship, ask your people that are in great, healthy relationships, whether they be your female friends or your male friends, so that you can get some insight and you can get some information as well. Another good gift about being single, this is a time to gather information about what does it mean to be in a relationship, what does it mean to be married, what do people find surprising about it. So all these different things that you can take the time to do, please, I encourage you to do them. I talk to my male, female friends all the time about marriage and all these questions and what was it like. And the best way I do get information, if I say, look, this is a thought I have and this is what I'm thinking, what are your thoughts? You're going to have to put yourself out there, be a bit vulnerable, and you can't just ask someone questions about their life and not share your own. But that's another great support system for you. So I still want to constantly reiterate that the holidays are going to be tough. And you're going to constantly hear advertisements and see advertisements pushing relationships and all those kind of different things. So please know it is going to be tough, but you will get through it. And this is just not the be-all. Just think that. I think the holidays are like, if you're in America, it's November. So it's about a month, maybe 6 weeks. The whole holiday period, if you're thinking from Thanksgiving all the way up to New Year's, and in other countries it's just going to be from Christmas up into New Year's. So it's about 6 weeks, but it's probably about 6 weeks of all the parties and things like that. So think, we have 52 weeks in a year, and 6 of these weeks are going to be the hardest week. When you look at it in the big picture scheme of things, it's really a small, minute portion of your life. It is not your whole life. So if you look at it in the big picture context, it's a small portion and you will get through it. And this doesn't define you. And I also want to just encourage you, make sure you're not living out someone else's life. I remember someone talked to me about this, that, we each have our own book, that has been inspired for us, if you're a believer by God or a higher power, however you refer, or the divine or Mother Earth. But everyone has their own story, and everyone just in a chapter. And like this, if you think about it in terms of a book, this period is like probably, I don't know, 1 page in your whole chapter of your life book. It is not your whole story, and it doesn't define you. So I just want you to think about that in that context. And also just make sure that you are living your own book, and you're not trying to live a chapter in someone else's in terms of living up to someone's expectations in regards to someone else's expectations, like maybe it's a mom or dad or grandma, whoever the case may be, trying to live up to their expectations, and you are a chapter in their book. versus living in your own book. You have your own special, unique book with your name on it. And this period of your life is just like, I don't know if it's even a page or probably like a few paragraphs in your life. So just always look at the big picture rather than just what's going on. And these are just ideas to help you to get out of that moment where you might just be stuck. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't feel this way or have all these feelings. Like, that's going to happen, but this is what's going to help you. Is this helping everyone? If anyone has any comments or questions or anything like that, please just put a comment or question in the comment section, and I'll try and look at them. Probably because my whole laptop decided to fail, so I can't see if anyone's got any questions on Facebook at the moment. Probably only on Instagram. So what was the other thing? Oh, yes. I just want to make sure that you guys are not making sure that the relationship is not defining you, in the sense that it's not, if I'm single, that now I'm worthy. If I'm in a relationship, now that I'm worthy, now I'm good enough because I'm in a relationship. So I just want to encourage you guys on that, to make sure that you're not having your relationship define who you are as a person, because who you are as a person is your characteristics and are your qualities. So that's just another thing I want to encourage you guys in, just making sure that you are not using the relationship to define your worthiness, as I would like to say. I know this is not, because some people, for me, I define single as not being married. Some people define single just not being in a relationship. And so there may also be some people who are single in the sense that they're in a relationship but they're not engaged, and they might not get engaged over the holidays even they were expecting it. Again, that doesn't define you. It doesn't define a relationship, and you may also experience some sadness. I remember a friend, I had two friends. One got engaged at Christmas, and then the one came in the next day and she was crying because she didn't. Although she did get engaged at, and she was crying so much. But then she did get engaged on New Year's. So it doesn't define you. You can feel what you're feeling, but just try not to take it to heart too much. It doesn't define you if you don't get that ring over the holidays as well. And making sure you're not just looking at your relationship in regards to, I just want to be in a relationship to end the suffering or end what I'm experiencing. That you're in this relationship because you really want to be in the relationship, and you really want to be with someone. If it's just to, oh, I don't want to feel this anymore, I don't want to experience this anymore, then trust me, you're still going to be miserable. So it doesn't matter. You can have that. I do counseling, and there are a lot when it comes to couples counseling, and relationships are tough, and couples counseling, and even just general talking to people about their relationships. They're just people who are in relationships to be in relationships. So that's another thing. Like, whilst you're looking at all these people on Instagram, you do not know what their relationship is like at home. You do not know if they are happy. You don't know if they're content in what they're doing. So I just want to also just remind you, do not look at someone else who is in a relationship and think that everything's going great. It's not. Relationships are tough. They're not easy. And some people are just there for the money. Some people are there for the show. Some people are there for the comfort. So not only are you doing yourself a disservice in that when you do that comparison, you just don't know the full story. So, because I hear a lot of things just in the therapy room, just about that. One thing I also want to talk about, and another thing I encourage you guys to do, have a mantra, like a mantra, a quote, a verse. If you're, I'm a believer, so a verse or a scripture that you can quote or that you can remind yourself of when you're getting into these moments. Like I talked about comparison Is the thief of joy. Maybe when you're in comparison, just to remind you, to get you out that moment. So what is your mantra? What is your quote? What is your verse? What is your scripture? What are you leaning on when you are getting in these sad moments over the holidays, when your family is bombarding you, when you're listening to advertisements or watching advertisements? What are you saying to yourself? Because what you are saying to yourself, it matters and it makes a difference. I'm such a big thing on thought life, which is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Our thoughts affect our feelings, and our feelings affect our behavior, and I'm really huge on that, because it really does. It really does. And I always refer back to the chain of destiny. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. The words, which mean anything that's spoken to you, anything that you see, or anything that you heard, they produce thoughts, and then your thoughts produce emotions. Your emotions produce decisions. Decisions produce actions. Actions produce habits. Habits produce character, and character produces your destiny. And so I'm very big on your thought life. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to what you're saying to yourself about yourself, because you're single. There's things I'm this, I'm lonely, I'm not good enough, no one wants me, I'm too old, I'm not pretty enough. What are you saying to yourself in your head? Because your voice is the voice that you hear more than anyone else's, is the voice you're going to believe. So is that voice that you're saying, does that line up with the truth? You know, it's another way of looking at your inner critic. Are you paying more attention to your inner critic than what is actually true about you? And so I think that's so important. And like, there's just so many different components that go into this in regards to that. And just us as people in general about the thought life, but just in particular for this issue of singleness. Like, what are you saying about yourself? Really, like, the fact that you're single, what does it mean? Like, what are you telling yourself? What does this represent? You are making a whole relationship status be based on your worth. Like, no, you're worth so much more. And singleness is not like a death sentence. It's not a punishment. It is a season. It is a gift. It is to be enjoyed. And that's what I really want you guys to get out of it. Like, please just enjoy this season. I am enjoying the season more and more and more. Especially when my niece left last week, a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, yes. I'm so excited. She is not here. I love her. But I just wanted to go about my business and do what I wanted to do without asking anyone. Yeah, it's selfish. Like, you get to be selfish. You get to be more selfish. Trust me, when you're in a relationship, you'll see how selfish you are. But you get to be a bit more selfish in that. And you get to do that self-care time. So those are some points that I really just wanted to add. There are going to be some temptations. Maybe to call an ex. Maybe to go on a date with someone you don't really need to go on a date with because they're really no good, or you really don't want to be with them. And in those situations, I just think about how would you feel? How would you feel being out with somebody and you realize that they're just there with you just to be there with you? They're not really interested in you as a person. Or they're just contacting you just to see, just to fill the gap, to fill space. How would you feel if you knew that's how would you really feel? So just think about that. That in doing that before you make that call, that as well deals with your integrity, just as a person, just as building up your character in that as well. So I just want you to also think about that. So I just want to see if anyone have any questions or any comments. I don't know if this is going to come up for me now. I just realized that that's what happens when you don't charge and you run it away, that my laptop wasn't charging. But if anyone has any questions or any points they want to add, just onto those whole questions about being single and being single over the holidays, and what are some of your fears, or how you can possibly manage family members or friends, or your thoughts, or just how you see yourself. just kind of let me know, and then I will answer the questions. If there are no questions, then I'm probably just going to go ahead and end. But I know there's always a delay with the Instagram and also with Facebook. So I'll just wait and I'll just see if there's any questions. And I know that my Instagram, my laptop just died on me. So just let me know. But the message here really is just being content in your singleness. Being content in your singleness and enjoying the gift of your singleness as much as you can. Because when that relationship comes, it's going to change your world. It's going to be fun. The right relationship, the healthy relationship, is going to be fun, and it's going to change your world. So I don't think I have any questions. I don't have any comments coming up on here, and so I don't see any on the Facebook. So thank you for your time. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always just send me a DM or just put a message on Facebook, and I'll definitely answer it. But thank you so much for your time, and have a good evening.